is Anthony Sincere reporting from Mountain View, heading for Sunnyvale, California. So, my mom, we just went to Costco in Mountain View. Everything was cool, but then, like, first we were talking about the laundromat. Someone got attacked, like the owner in San Jose, and then, but those people got arrested. It was like a younger lady, a Spanish lady, and a younger guy, and then an older, fat, big guy, and then, I'm sorry, I shouldn't describe it as a husky big guy. And then, well, it's on the surveillance video. And then, so my mom was like, after Costco, she said, "Oh, where did you hear that from?" And then I said, "Oh, from surveillance," because I was like tired. As an introvert, some people will never understand it because they're not introverted or have ADHD, where like you go outside and there's like a lot of stimulation. But I think like a lot of actors also face that because they're like in the celebrity eye. Like Nicole Kidman would understand. I took acting classes too, but I understand as an introvert, like when you're in the public eye, at first you might not be used to it, and she got used to it. Nicole Kidman, remember that interview with Zendaya? And then I saw maybe some celebrities also wasn't used to being like in the public eye. For me, I used to be comfortable being in public and around public spaces, but I guess when I started like isolating myself during high school and middle school, I was like a popular kid, but then I was like the artist, but also popular with the teachers and with students because my brother and me were twins, but not because necessarily me and my brother were twins. We also had our own identities and all different sets of friends. Like my brother was, at that time, he was more nerdy, and he had nerdy friends who were, some of them were bad influence. And then maybe my parents want me to commit something because they hate that instead of committing like a crime or something, I became introverted, and they think that I don't want to be independent and have my own place. I would, but look at the economy, what Trump did, and a lot of people are moving back to their parents' house or to families because we can't afford, because all the CEOs and the other people are like taking all the wages. And how are people able to get their own place if people are always, what do you call that? Hold on, I gotta turn left. Yeah, other people are always like, the affordability is not there now for food, inflation, and then Trump is going to do tariffs again. I wanted to go back to what my mom, she likes to, it's like weird. She says that she doesn't do it on purpose, but every time that I have like a long break, she tries, or day off, a long day off, like a few days. Last week we didn't have a problem, but this time she did it again, where she said, "Oh, you didn't answer me correctly the first time," because like when she asked me, "Oh, where did you get the news from?" and I said, "Surveillance," because I was like tired from Costco, and there's like too many people and stuff, and carrying this, putting away the stuff. Maybe my mom doesn't understand because she doesn't have, sometimes she tries to be compassionate, but being empathetic is different than being just, I think, or sympathetic. I think she's sympathetic most of the time, because empathy requires that you understand that how someone's feeling, like when they're afraid or scared. That's why I want to find a true love, like Nick Nelson. But let's go back to, so she doesn't, my parents and family don't understand it because they're a different generation, and people don't understand the self-care thing. So with self-care, people have to like, people don't know about self-care unless it's your own self-care. You have to, it's something about your own, unless you're like seeing a therapist. But even sometimes people talk to therapists and therapists don't even help. There was that story that a therapist took advantage of a young man and to have sex with. So that's why I don't trust people in government, like police, or fire department, or Sunnyvale, anyone from Sunnyvale or Mountain View or Santa Clara, probably engage in weird white stuff like that. Oh, there was an EMT, sorry. And so yeah, I said surveillance, and then the news, and then she's like, the news, and then I said surveillance camera caught on the laundromat, found from the news. And then she got so pissed because I couldn't answer her correctly like 3 times. She doesn't understand the people with ADHD, but even when my dad, she asks him questions and he doesn't get it correct the first time, so she gets really, really angry when you don't answer. She said, why do you do this to me? I mean, maybe she was used to talking like a biatch at her job, but sometimes she doesn't understand or see herself that she does it, and we're just quiet, we try to be nice, but she reacts and gets super angry when you don't answer her correctly or perfectly. She said, like, oh, that's not what I asked you. See, isn't that like scary and rude, and it gives you anxiety if someone's always treating you like that badly? Anyone would probably understand if they were in my shoes. Like, my parents are caring and they give like the house and things, but the emotional side, they have no empathy for someone who's different, because they think that everyone experiences everything the same. Every situation is the same, everything is the same. So that's kind of, I think that's a bit narrow-minded. But everyone has like emotional behavior, just like a disorder, like anxiety, which is not bad. Like for me, I get scared when I go outside, or overwhelmed sometimes, because I was used to my parents always like criticizing me. Like last week, we had a good week with my parents, but she like defended me from my dad, who was like criticizing me for small things. But then today, I don't know. So, like, everyone has their up and downs when they get mad, and yeah, she got super angry, and I didn't know how to answer. And then I was trying to apologize when I got home, and then she got super angry again. So sometimes she says, oh, it's kind of like narcissistic to say, oh, I never annoy you, what do I do? If you tell someone like her who gets really pissed, I wouldn't tell them what makes you annoyed, because then they wouldn't accept it. They would probably even get more angry, but she doesn't know how to like empathize, you know. So that's what I have to deal with. They're saying that, but they always try to make it like I'm the one who's looking crazy. But we gotta look at wrongdoing of the police though, because there's that AI thing that Joseph Gordon-Levitt pointed out, but no one really cared when it was AI flock safety. But it seems like there's posts that even Democrats side, Gary Peters, I don't know if you're familiar what state he's from, but and then there's a mayor who was a former WWE who wants to scrutinize the police. So yeah, a lot of different states are starting to scrutinize it, because I don't see California yet. It was on the page. I'm from Sunnyvale, Silicon Valley. They're making a show about Cupertino, and no one has created, what do you call that? No one has canceled and destroyed the cameras of flock safety here, even in Palo Alto. But there was that one. It was in North Carolina, destroying they wanted to like cut the business and stop the vendor on flock safety and from continuing. And then we hear of the story where the cameras are at a pool. What is that? An outside pool, like an outside playground, but it has water in it for children. And then the CEO from a few months ago was watching at a community center, girls. So I think the story's starting to come out. We don't want it to be like Epstein, where we like the men get to do whatever they want. Now we don't want the police to do whatever they want in Sunnyvale, California, Cupertino. So yeah, the mayor of Santa Clara is Lisa Gilmore, I think. And then Larry Klein is Sunnyvale, but the Santa Clara Police Department encompasses a lot of areas that have flock safety cameras. And for example, the supervisor Betty Jong is in only 3 cities. She's in charge of 3 cities, and 1 district in Santa Clara, and then the rest of Santa Clara, they remain the flock safety cameras like around Levi Stadium and Cupertino district by the Santa Clara police. So we really have to look into police wrongdoing, otherwise the AI will be the Israel Tech next. So people do not scrutinize and start fining. I want to do what Thomas Massey wants. Let's fine all the police departments in America. So House and Senate, please pass it. CNN. Hello, Gary Peters. Please help advance and introduce that bill to fine all the police departments, even in let's start with California, Sunnyvale. Meet with Chief Corey Morgan. He's a military expert. That's why he's enthusiastic about all this AI and tech, because he gets to do it in his policing. But policing for years and years has never been caught for crimes in Santa Clara